Welcome back. You're watching IIM Season 5. It's now time for a second team from IIM Indore, Team Cataphracts, to make its presentation. Team, you will have 3 minutes to make your presentation. At the end of 3 minutes, we'll sound a buzzer. That will be the end of time. That will be followed by a question and answer session with the judges. All the best. Your time starts now.
In order to analyze and propose a growth strategy for Frédérique Constant in India, we have had to look at the fundamentals of the brand through a primary research-led SWOT analysis. What emerges out as the rich heritage of Frédérique Constant is perhaps one of the biggest positives that Frédérique Constant enjoys. Extensive primary research through consumers having high disposable income across at different professional levels. For consumers, corporates and entrepreneurs, we have had a look at what Frédérique Constant really has to offer. What we really come up to is that there's one important question that everyone asks before making an important purchase like a luxury watch, and that is, how will my product be perceived by my peers and my associate, my acquaintances? And this is where we come to conclude that even the numerical analysis suggests that corporate as a pie is good enough, as a category is good enough, yet the focus should also be on marketing efforts which enhance the touch bases beyond the corporates and impact and influence the corporate. Thereby we have kind of focused on our branding and marketing energies on the brand core, the brand values and the brand artifacts like the quality and innovation, the creativity and design, finally giving us the brand artifacts which are the beautiful heartbeats. And finally we get the brand equity built on the pillars of mindshare and market share, and this is what exactly our recommendations would do.
Our recommendations for the promotional activities for Frédérique Constant are threefold, and they go beyond the traditional methods of television, of print, or of out-of-door advertising. So the first recommendation that we try to say is to ensure that we increase our digital footprint of the brand. This can be done through multiple ways. The first way that we suggest is that to increase the optimization of the search engine. Secondly, possibly you can look at the kind of activities that goes on Facebook. It's more localized for the Indian audience. Thirdly, you can also look at the availability of our products on online retail formats as well, such as Flipkart and WatchCart. Our second recommendation comes to the kind of association that we have with events. We already have quite a good amount of events on our list, but what we suggest is that we can look at further ones like leadership awards, for example, the CNN IBN's Indian of the Year award, which can be associated with, which deepens our relationship with corporates. Our third thing is specific to the corporate sector, where we suggest that we make available customized watches for corporate events. This will again deepen our engagement with them. Coming to the Devanagari initiative, what we believe is that through our primary research, the modern Indian is more confident, more proud of his own heritage. With this, we come up with a slogan called Live Your Heritage. We also suggest two collections, the Maharaja collection and the Explorer collection as well. The opportunities that you can look at for this initiative are your Indian festivals, Indian weddings, and gifts to foreign dignitaries and foreign expats as well. Thank you.
First thing, you mentioned that the perception while purchasing a luxury item was a very strong fact, and that would make the difference when you decide whether to buy this item or not to buy it. How do you see that fitting with your proposal of e-commerce? E-commerce being perceived a little bit less luxury than, being on a high street shop.
What we suggest is, for example, WatchCart, which is an Indian portal again, which is specific only for watches, and they concentrate on a lot of luxury watches as well. So if you're not associating them with regular portals, such as maybe if you're not ignoring Flipkart, which has a wide range of products that are available on the portal, you can concentrate specifically on only watch e-commerce portals like WatchCart, which is meant for watches, and it will not dilute our equity as well.
Well, yes, I understand your point, but I believe that the experience that goes with shopping a luxury item is as important as the perception people will get when looking at your wrist. And therefore, this is why we have a question about e-commercing our watches, because, it's a purchase of a high amount, and are you ready to spend that amount on internet? That's also the question.
When you put something like luxury watches to buy, a watch card comes up on the top. What they say is that when I look for a watch, just want to understand what kind of watches are there, what are the prices, what the collections I have. He's not able to find Frédérique Constant there. Once he at least realizes Frédérique Constant on the list there, he might at least search for Frédérique Constant and then go to a proper POS to buy it. So at least the first leg of understanding and awareness can be built at least through this online portal, if not the direct purchase at least.
I want to ask you, have you tried to estimate what are the number of Indians who can possibly afford this watch, this brand? Have you tried to?
Yes.
Then Once you answer that, do you need to do anything except sell more watches to the same amount of people?
We have done a numerical analysis and proper estimation of what is the market size that we are looking at for this particular kind of watches. So what we did was look at the kind of corporates that we are having, because that is the primary target group. Look at some relevant industries like the manufacturing, the finance industry, real estate, education, and then perhaps when we filter them down, so what we are getting is a good collection, a good number of people.
How many watches did they sell manufacture last year?
So 12,000 watches.
How many?
128,000.
128,000 globally, sorry.
Yeah, that's all. No, that's all they
Globally.
manufactured worldwide.
Right.
Yeah. So what do they need to achieve now? You know, why do you have to talk to everybody? Why is brand equity an important thing? Because arguably those who buy the watch, they know the brand equity.
So what we believe, for example, if you look at the sales figures for Frédérique Constant as well, 34% is coming through Asia, but they've been able to achieve much more success in China compared to India. And if you look at it, the Swiss brands that are more popular here are being those that have been in the Indian market for quite a lot of time, whether it be Redo, it could be Longines or etc. They've been much longer in the market compared to us. So what we believe is that Indians as such require the brand to be etched in their minds, and they need to know that the rest of the people also know the brand. So for that you need to build a brand equity, you need to spend some amount of money on a promotional activity, some amount of money on building these exercises, such that that image is built across a large number of people, such that that equity builds up among those who are interested to purchase the watch at least.
Yeah, so you have mentioned a few locations or cities that you would recommend the footprint increase to happen in. So what's the basis or logic of coming up with these 4 towns or cities, as you call them?
So the first one is Jaipur, as you see. So the Jaipur, the basic thing, one of the collections that we are proposing is the Maharaja collection, and as we know, Rajasthan is perhaps the land of Rajputs and is the land of rulers. So what we are supposing and proposing is that because most of the high budget kind of marriages happen in places like Jaipur and Udaipur, so if you have a store over there as a medium of gifting to people in that big fat Indian weddings would go up, and that is a similar rationale that we have for Lucknow also. So basically we are targeting those areas where the kind of expenditure on these gifts is high.
So I'm saying, when you started doing this exercise of trying to figure out the locations, did you not start with the basic metric of saying where do luxury consumers today stay?
Right.
Definitely.
Was that the logic that you have followed?
So that was
Because
there.
you might have missed out on a few locations if you have not followed that logic.
Sir, apart from that, we all looked at what are the existing branches that Frédérique Constant is presently sold in, and apart from that, what we saw is that what is the kind of proposition that we are giving, and what are the cities that actually fit into that proposition. One more factor that we try to consider is, let's try to go in areas where perhaps there is not much competition.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. I request you to please step outside while the jury deliberates and writes its final scores.
The judges did ask a lot of questions, and I think we did a reasonably good job of answering them. But yes, a few questions were on the harder side. I think the team discussed the answers and we put forward our best answers. In terms of our presentation, it went good. 3 minutes is always a less amount of time, but we did whatever we could at the best.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the audience, which is quite huge today. Nice to see. Who do you think won? How many of you think fresh lime soda won? Okay, and cataphracts? Okay, the audience is correct. Fresh lime soda, you won the campus round IIM Indore. Congratulations. Congratulations, team. With that, we come to the end of the campus round at IIM Indore. Join us next week. We'll be in Delhi, where the teams from FMS will be cracking a case study for cleartrip.com. Until then, thanks for watching.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate.